It looks like Michigan politicians who are Democrats are making a turn towards Trump. I look at this on paper, we don't know what the hidden motives are, but they're turning towards Trump because their political survival depends on it. Because you're not going to get federal money, you're not going to get help from the government to solve problems like crime and maybe a little bit of infrastructure unless you play ball with Trump. Gretchen Whitmer, who's the governor of Michigan, who was actually almost kidnapped, and Trump in the past has said that he wants to pardon the people who tried to kidnap Whitmer. She actually went to D.C. and met with Trump, and as soon as she meets with Trump, she gets funding for federal bases in Michigan. Along with that, Mike Duggan, who's the mayor of Detroit, went to Trump, and he's proud of it. And he said he got funding for police, and he said that his people in Detroit are willing to work with federal agents and things like that for crime. And they've had a big reduction in crime. When he became the mayor of Detroit, they were having 750 carjackings. I think last year they had like 75. A lot of people say that he's also playing with the stats and everything. The murder has gone down. They're projected to have 75 murders this year. I think they had 200 last year. Some people would say, just like the other Democrats, he's cooking the books. Or maybe it's because Trump is pumping in federal money there. And with federal money, you can mask crime a little bit by making people comply through force. I don't think it solves the whole problem because the problem is a social, political, economic. But in the short term, maybe the reason Detroit has less crime is because this guy went to Trump. That's all you need to do with Trump. You don't need to say the Democrats are bad and the Republicans are good. All you need to do is kiss his ass, and he'll give you funding. He'll give you, because that's how Trump is. Trump is a narcissist. So what we're seeing in Michigan, and also Michigan is a state that Trump has won twice in the presidential elections. He won it the first time against Hillary Clinton. Then he won it the second time against, Harris. So the writing is on the wall in Michigan as a swing state that if they don't reach over and do something, if they remain as a liberal state, they're going to continue losing to the Republicans. So it's a very good move that Whitmer's doing it. And when Whitmer went to him and asked for funding for things in Michigan, she didn't say, oh, a lot of Democrats said she's a traitor. She said, I'm not a traitor. She said what we know is true, whether she believes it or not. She said, if we're not reaching across the table to shake hands with the other people and working together, then we're not helping the country. She's saying, I'm tired of this divisive politics in which Democrats don't do things just to spite the Republicans, and also the Republicans don't do things which to spite the Democrats. I don't know if she's sincere or not, but it's a very good political move. Now, also with Mike Duggan. Mike Duggan is running for governor to replace her when he leaves. And Duggan's a Democrat, but now he's taken off the Democrat label and he's labeling himself as independent. So you see the move in Michigan. Michigan Democrats are distancing themselves from the liberal movement. Last thing I want to add, Detroit is not a sanctuary city, and the mayor of Detroit said it with all his heart. He said, I want to make it clear so that Trump doesn't send federal troops up in here. We are not a sanctuary city. What that means is that if we do find illegal immigrants, we're going to call the federal government. It doesn't mean that we're going to try to find immigrants, because that's not our policy. So he's differentiating himself from Trump. He's saying, I'm not trying to find illegal immigrants, but if we find them, will cooperate with the government, unlike the other cities. So what you're seeing in Michigan is a movement away from the mainstream Democratic Party and creating sort of like a new Democratic, trying to relabel themselves as Democrats who work with other people in Congress and Senate and other people with the other party, which is actually supposed to be their job. So all of these guys, like the mayor of Baltimore, what's his name, Brandon Scott, and the mayor of Chicago, they need to take a look at this. And also the governor of Illinois, is not going to help you politically to continually not address things like crime and stuff like that just so you can say Trump, we're defying Trump. What they need to stop doing is stop worrying about defying Trump and figure out situations on what you can do to make America's black cities, especially places like Chicago, Baltimore, New Orleans. Just figure out how to make those places well, regardless of even concentrating or focusing on Trump. What's your thoughts?